In the preseason survey of general managers in the NBA, two teams stand out as the favorites to win it all. With 71% of the votes go to the trio of the Brooklyn Nets in Kyrie, KD, and James Harden, while 17% of the votes goes to the Los Angeles Lakers with the trio of Westbrook, AD, and LeBron. One team didn't even reach the playoffs, while the other just got eliminated a couple of hours ago. These teams have had a very disappointing season this year. The Brooklyn Nets have had a difficult time throughout this season. They had the issues with Kyrie, they had the issues with James Harden. They dealt with the James Harden things and they got Ben Simmons. They got Andre Drummond. They got Seth Curry. And I think if I could remember, they also got picks for it. Or was it the other guy? I'm not sure. But yes, they got Ben Simmons in exchange for James Harden. Ben Simmons didn't play a single game this season. He was supposed to play game number 4, but his back got sore, so he ain't playing game 4, and I doubt he won't play even game 5. They won this game today. If they won this game today, I doubt it. And with the Kyrie situation already being like handled and he could play even though he ain't vaccinated, it turned out to be like still sad or disappointing because we ain't got to see a lot of KD and Kyrie that much this season. The bench though, the bench have been good. In this game, Goran Dragic took over. Yes, we can say that. Goran Dragic made some good plays, especially fouling out Jason Tatum, which is controversial because refs are the refs. You all know that. Even though Goran Dragic did his thing, they still lost. KD missed the free throw. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but he missed the free throw. They didn't get the stop. They had a tip in with Al Horford and Marcus Smart, and they lost. That was like the dagger of all the game in the game, bro. Like KD even had a hard time with Grant Williams guarding him, and maybe also Jason Tatum. Even though Jason Tatum was in foul trouble, Grant Williams took that role of guarding KD, and he did pretty well. Even though KD scored 39 points, he did pretty well. Kyrie, on the other hand, he had like a bad series. Can you say that? He still played good, but like there wasn't like a game or a time wherein it's like the old Kyrie, wherein he's going to take over. We didn't get to see that. I think in this postseason, if I could in this season series, if I can remember, like we didn't get to see that. I think game one. I'm not sure if it's game one. It's when Kyrie got mad with the fans. So like it might be the only time if I could remember. It's tough because even though Seth Curry was going hard or having a hard time, they always go back to that isolation of like KD and Kyrie getting back the ball. Like even though Bruce Brown is been having a good season or series, Seth Curry making some shots, they always go back, especially in the fourth quarter. They always go back to the isolation game, and that's gonna be a problem if they're going to continue that next season. Others are saying blaming Steve Nash for this, but all I got to say is that Steve Nash did everything. He did everything in game number 4. Sometimes he made the adjustments, he made the switches, he gave it his all, but it's still they lost the game. The defense of Boston is so good, like so good. Like I'm in love with their defense. Even though Robert Williams was injured, he played a bit. We're still recovering, but he's just playing. But like yeah, he did pretty well on the limited time that he was given. But I tell you, from being the arguably the most skilled duo in history. That's what they say. That's what they said. That's what they said. Not me. That's what they said. The most skilled duo gets eliminated in the first round. Everyone had this series in 7 or in 6, either in Boston or Brooklyn winning. We didn't expect this to be 4. We thought that They could handle KD and Kyrie could handle the defense of Boston and try to win some games, but nah, they didn't. Nah, they didn't. Marcus Smart was all over Kyrie and KD. Like Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. Marcus Smart did his thing. Like Boston really had this series. They have this series. They really had this series. And now they're in the second round. For Brooklyn, on the other hand, it will be a very, very interesting offseason. They have three players, 50 million per year, or 50 million in cap. Not cap, but they have to pay three players 50 million. And I think Kyrie's on a player option, so that's around 32 or 33 million. And yo, with the three other players, you only have three players. I don't know if Seth Curry still has another year. I'm not sure if Andre Drummond is on like a minimum. But this team needs to change. Like from their fourth to their 10th player, they need to switch it up. You could keep Seth, you could keep Patty Mills because you will really rely them, especially Bruce Brown. You gotta keep Bruce Brown. I remember the first day of the NBA, I complained why Brooklyn didn't play Bruce Brown. You see what's Bruce Brown doing right now, bro. So like, they gotta find ways on how to make this team better. They need defenders. They really need defenders because that's one of their biggest weaknesses. Another is they need a big man. You cannot rely on Claxton, bro. You can rely Claxton a bit, but not for a long time. You need someone who could defend on y'all, who can guard y'all, who can get you rebounds, who can set up good screens. Like you need to find that center. You need to find big defenders, big wings. Like you gotta find those players or players who can contribute offensively and defensively or some two-way players, bro. That's what Brooklyn needs to do. Them not having enough money. Who would sign for y'all? Are we going to have that signing once again where they're like, oh, um, let's say who's an old player, bro? Oh, no. DeMarcus Cousins having a good season. We're going to have like DeAndre Jordan signs with the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to be like a championship. What did I hit the championship team? Nah. Are we going to have that once again? Like, oh no, Westbrook signed with the Brooklyn Nets. Are we? Are we going to have that? Like old stars going to a championship team and we overreacting like, yo, they're going to make a good impact. Like, are we done with that? Like, we don't get fooled. We still get fooled by that. That's a problem with Brooklyn this season. They don't have enough money and they need to sign a lot of players. They need to sign good players, bro. Good players. And we will see what they will do. I also forgot to say this. I know Joe Harris didn't play, and he's going to possibly maybe make a huge impact. No excuses though. They should have taken a game. They should have taken a game. But now let's talk about Boston. Boston has been so good defensively, has been so good this season or this series. And bro, I'm starting to in love with the Boston's defense. But we've seen like Jason Tatum improve. We've seen like Grant Williams also improve. Like Jalen Brown does his things. Like Derek White. Like I remember saying in our podcast that Boston took an L in the trade deadline. No, I'm wrong, but like I know I'm wrong. I'm very, very wrong. But yo, I tell you, bro, this team could be a finals team. This team could be a finals team with Joel Embiid having a hard time and Philadelphia having a hard time against Toronto Raptors. Who would have expected that? Without Fred Van Vliet, they're having a hard time. Who could have expected that? But like, if they are having a hard time, even though Joel Embiid's injured, and like Miami might maybe win, there's still Milwaukee. Milwaukee is the defending champions. And I'm not going to say Milwaukee's already in the next round, depending on when was the time you watch this video. But if they're already there, Boston and Milwaukee. Bro, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. And I want to say it's tough because like we thought the series of Brooklyn and Brooklyn Boston was tough to decide. This is still even hard to decide, but we didn't expect that. Maybe they might get sweep. They might get swept once again, bro. But like, bro, I tell you, this Boston team, if they found a way to stop KD and Kyrie, they can find a way to stop Giannis. That's how high I have with Boston right now, bro. I think I would pick them to be in the finals. If Devin Booker comes back, that's going to be a Suns maybe or a Warriors maybe. Warriors Suns Boston finals, bro. Would I watch that? I would. Who would I pick to win? Maybe Boston. Because I love defense. I love watching defense, and they are so good defensively. Very, very good defensively. And you just gotta give props to Jason Tatum, bro. It's like his year. It's like his season is this year. And he might even get it. Like he might even get it. Like he won't get the championship. He gonna celebrate, even with dudes on the sideline. Like he's going to have a good series or a good playoff maybe. But the problem is Milwaukee, who's going to guard Giannis, and Boston is going to find a way with that. They're 2-2 in the season standings, and we might even go six. We might even go seven. We don't know. We just hope no injuries will come. But yeah, Chris Middleton hopefully comes back. But Milwaukee needs to stop first against beat Chicago. Even though I love Chicago, we have a good season, Chicago, but Milwaukee gotta like do that. And going up against Boston, that will be fire. That will be fire. And they're going up against maybe Miami, maybe Philly or Toronto. So the finals, the Eastern Conference Finals, and I will really pick Boston. I have Boston as my favorites to go out of the East. I said it here, and I think they will maybe win again. Told you, it might be their time to win, but we will see. We will see.